Much for sharing further details. Now, viewers, the Directorate General of the International Atomic Energy Agency has held a meeting with Iran's foreign minister. The chief of the United Nations nuclear watchdog has warned that Iran is edging dangerously close to developing a nuclear weapon. This meeting follows the first round of talks between Iran and the US in Muscat and comes before the second round, which is to be held in Rome. Remember, the US President Donald Trump had pulled out a deal inked with Iran 2015. This action in 2018 has had wide-ranging ramifications. Trump has now struck an optimistic tone, stating that a deal is on the horizon. Professor Madhav Nalapat, editorial director of the TSG, is joining me live on the broadcast. Now, as the Iran-US ties are in focus also, Mr. Nalapat, the IAEA chief meets the Iran highest, nuclear cooperation remains to be of the utmost importance as far as the Iran-US ties are also concerned. What is his understanding for the consensus on the talks that are taking place, specifically given, the nuclear deal to be in focus?
Yeah, I'd like to say, so far as Iran is concerned, I very much doubt that it will really give up nuclear program. The reality of what happened in Syria, Libya, and Iraq, the Iranian political leadership, and don't forget, the government there is not democratic. If it were, it's a different story. It's run by the clerics believe, as a consequence of the past, that they will be in this for elimination. So I do not think that they will be serious about giving up nuclear weapons. At the same time, there has been inflicted considerable damage on Israel, and they don't want the U.S. to join in that damage. Anyway, I don't think the U.S. is going to get directly involved in any kind of war, except that it's going to help Israel to whatever extent Israel needs. But I'd like to say that as far as Iran is concerned, the mullahs regard the possession of a nuclear device, the risk of a nuclear detonation, as important for deterring any attack on Iran in the way they have attacks on Libya, Syria, and Iraq. So the talks are going based in the direction, if Iran succeeds, is going in of the U.S. Going back a bit on its commitments to Israel. Again, I see that happening, and I don't see Yahoo funding. He wants the nuclear situation completely dismantled while the clerics are in power, and the clerics look like remain in power for the foreseeable future. But if that's going to be significant, it will harm the clerical regime. Ultimately, the regime in Iran that will accept no nuclear weapons strategy would be a civilian regime. So that is some way.
All right. Professor Madhav Nalapat, thank you very much for being with us on the broadcast. Now, viewers, on that note, that was all the news of the nation and the world. We'll continue to track all the developments very closely. Stay with us.
अगर आप